For coming out in such inclement weather for this Saturday evening rally of the Workers' Party of Britain. We have, many of us, been talking all day, which may be obvious from our hoarseness, but we're not done talking. And for those who have joined us for the evening, I hope very much you got some of the splendid food that was available, and there'll be food for thought from our speakers this evening. I'm just really opening the meeting now and will conclude it with my own speech, but I'm joined by the three new deputy leaders of the Workers' Party. They all come from different backgrounds. His Excellency Peter Ford, former British ambassador from the Foreign Office, our man at the FCO, is no longer there, unfortunately, but he's able to bring that wealth of experience of international affairs, of diplomacy, and of, if you like, macro politics. He's the pioneer of our campaign for a referendum on net zero, which I've just described to journalists who interviewed me outside in the cold a minute or two ago. The freezing cold in the global warming world. It certainly ain't warming here, but has become, if you like, a fetish of the political class. And we've been led into down one avenue after another of impoverishment and cold, without ever having been consulted on whether we want to sacrifice our today and even our tomorrow for some theoretical purpose some decade or so from now. You might take one view on that, you might take another, but you'd have to agree that we've never actually been consulted. Nobody was ever asked to vote on whether or not we should all have to replace our boilers with heat pumps, whether or not we, having been encouraged, just happened to me actually, having been encouraged to buy a diesel car, are now told that diesel cars are entirely toxic and we have to get rid of them. Whether to be told that we have to pay ULEZ charges in London and so on. So Honourable Peter Ford brings that to the leadership team. The incomparable Labour Member of Parliament, Chris Williamson, who was victimised in an early sign of what would happen to Jeremy Corbyn's leadership of the Labour Party, is also now a new deputy leader of the Workers' Party, and I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of him because he withstood, I said at the time, not everyone recognises the allusion, a long time ago, he's a modern Dreyfus. The Dreyfus affair in France, where a Jewish army officer was victimized by anti-Semitism, entirely unjustly, unfairly accused, convicted, punished. All of these things happened to Chris Williamson, when in fact, all he ever did was stand up for Jeremy Corbyn and Corbynism and some kind of idea of socialism within the Labour Party better than everyone else, better even than Jeremy Corbyn. And Chris Williamson conducted himself with grace and dignity and courage throughout that long period of victimization. And when he joined the Workers' Party, and now that he is deputy leader, I felt that this would strengthen us, but also strengthen him, because he's too talented a political figure to be out in the cold. He deserves to be in an organization living, breathing political organisation that loves him and provide that warmth and support for him. Andy Hutt, who spoke several times during the day, as one of the leaders of one of the most important and most militant trade unions in the country, the ASLE&F, as I used to call them, ASLEF, as you will know them, is not just physically a tower of strength, not just morally a tower of strength, but, if you'll forgive the pun, is a bridge between us and what remains of the organised labour movement. I'm so old, I was a prominent labour movement activist when the unions had 12 million members. Now they have fewer than half of that. When the union leaders, Ray Buckton in the case of ASLEF, Jimmy Knapp and others in the case of the NUR, Jack Jones, the leader of my own union, Hugh Scanlon, the leader of the engineers, when these people were a power in the land and were better known than most cabinet ministers and who were in Downing Street as often as any cabinet leader, and is that bridge between us and that period.